Well, now we continue to the next segment of Bali Visions for today's edition. So we are very close to welcome the 2025 and the 2026, And of course, the tourism industry is also evolving here in Bali. So on the next segment of Your Voice, we're going to also see how the optimisms of the tourism industry to welcome the 2026. So this is the Your Voice segment.
Hi viewers, welcome back to Your Voice segment on Bali Vision. We are very close to the end of 2025, so I think everyone's are also very well prepared for the outlook for the upcoming years on 2026. I'm Dian Ariswari, so today we're going to discuss about the tourism outlook, especially for Bali for 2026. We know that amidst the global uncertainty in economy as well as the rapid industry shifts, so it is a very crucial things to discuss about the economic outlook in relations to the tourism for Bali. And today we're going to discuss it with Ibu Putu Dia Sastri Pitanatri, MPhar PhD. She's the head of research and also community service center of the Ministry of Tourism. Good morning. Hi, Ibu Dia.
Good morning, Madian.
You look very excited to welcome 2026, I believe.
Of course.
So how optimistic are the tourism industries for 2026, Ibu?
Oh, thank you so much for the question. We find a major growth actually in terms of the outlook for tourism in 2026. We see a rise in many various types of travelers. There are certain types of travelers who are also having a long staying period of stay, and there's also some of these visitors are also a high yield, meaning that they have more expense when they are in the destination. So we see a positive growth, but again, it's also a dual reciprocality, something like that.
Wow, even though it's overshadowed with the economic slowdowns and then also the geopolitical tensions as well as climate change, and not to mention as well how do everyone's try to accelerate technological transformation, the tourism industries for Bali is still positive and optimistic for 2026, Ibu. Oh, okay. So what are the key factors that keep the high optimisms for the Bali's tourism industry?
Okay, I think that it has to do like for three major reasons. First, we have the return of the regional market. For example, Australia is having its peak at its growth, and then there's also some other Asian countries like China and India, and we also see a rise in Dubai and also UAE, and also some other markets that is also increasing, like from European markets. The second is we find the shift of travel behavior. So for this year, we conduct a research on these two kinds of travelers, and we found out that at a certain point, some travelers are shifting. We find a major trend towards digital savvy travelers. There are also a higher demand for those who are traveling solo. And we also find that the rise of environmental conscious travelers who look into a destination, not only just places to stay, but also at a certain point, a place to give back to the nature, something like that. And the third is that despite there's a slow downturn during the COVID, in 2025, we actually have a good growth in terms of visitors' arrival. But again, the highlight here is how to ensure that this development of new wave of these travelers is not only based on quantity, but also based on the quality.
Okay, so those are also the major trends for the tourism, including tourist arrivals here in Bali. So in entering 2026, what are the key challenges that you see as the most urgent challenges that Bali needs to address? Like we know that the overcrowding tourism in certain areas, travel for traffic congestions as well. So which part are the high priorities, Ibu?
Okay, I believe that there's three critical issues that we have to address. The first is the mobility management. When we talk about mobility management, we have to implement a more integrated tourism transportation system, meaning that we have to combine between the offline and the online transportation. So it's like a app-based kind of transportation. The second is on the environmental resilience. When we talk about environmental resilience, we have to think that there are certain places in the area that is now too overcrowded. It is too much happening, especially in the northern part of Bali, and then it is creating pressures on the environment. The third is, of course, the governance and the spatial distribution, because what we see during the research, we just did a research with Bank Indonesia this year, and we talk about carrying capacity on a certain areas of Bali, and one of the key points is that we find that the pressures of physical carrying capacity and social carrying capacity is on its limit. So if we don't do anything about it, then when we talk about sustainability, we talk about regenerative tourism, it's just a dream. So these three issues is something that is critical, and I believe that if the government of Bali can address these critical issues, then we see a brighter future in 2026 and forthcoming years.
Okay. Even though we already have the master plan for the tourism development, but of course we cannot also forget about the carrying capacity. And then now we have the special economic zone in relations to the carrying capacity, because the special economic zones that is being planned by the governments are also located actually at the southern part of Bali. Right? So what do you think about the special economic zones to the Bali's tourism? Will it contributes like positively, and also will it be like attractive to have a quality tourism, to establish a quality tourism with the special economic zone?
Yeah, I think it's a very good question actually, because when we talk about the special economic zone now becoming a part of the island tourism management, I think the idea is to have more curations and diversity, of course, in terms of the tourism products. The special economic zone at one point can enhance the new development of a niche market. For example, if we want to create more high yield types of tourists, wellness tourism, or what our minister used to say, the upgraded version of tourism, then we can start something new there. So it's a new opportunity. But again, in terms of regulation, you have to be very strict, not only creating what is a can and a cannot, do's and don'ts for this economic zone, but also we have to think about the law enforcement within the area. We don't want to have a nation within a nation, and we want to ensure that the development of this special economic zone can enhance the quality of visitors, can also enhance the quality of the destination in the forthcoming future.
Okay, so you see the special economic zone is also a way to making reality the quality tourism in Bali itself, right?
Yes, at some point, because we can ensure that because it's something new. I mean, it's going to be a special regions, meaning that we can attract more tourists who have a higher expenditure. We can have attract tourists that can stay at a longer period of time, and at the same time we can also attract investment, certain levels of investment that can contribute better on the growth of tourism industry in Bali. While at the same time, of course, the law enforcement, the regulations, and we have to make sure that there's no more environmental pressures having this new economic zone in Bali.
Okay, and then another interesting things about when we talk about the tourism, Bali is always looking for a new alternative for tourism or new opportunities as well. So, how do you see the niche market for a specific kind of tourism like wellness and beauty, which becoming trends right now, and then also about eco-tourism or other niche tourism types?
Okay. For Bali itself, it is well known for three major aspects. First is its culture, second is its nature, and the third is its people. So when we have these three strong elements of Bali, we are at a peak of what we have branding for wellness. And Bali is actually an epicentrum for wellness tourism, not only in Asia, but also the world. And well, in Balinese, we call it taksu. We bless the land. And that's what creates a different storytelling, especially to the wellness market, creating balance between positive and negative energy, creating balance between your work life, work and life. And because of the high demand for this kind of tourism, I think and I believe that Bali will stand out not only in Asia but also the world, as long as of course I always mention there's also always terms and conditions related to that. For wellness tourism, we have to ensure that the types of tourists that we are attracting is the right one. The second is that in terms of the facilities that we have in the island must at least 5-star standards. And I believe that in terms of making these standards come to life and becoming an opportunity, we have to ensure the skills of the employees, skills of the community and the people of Bali can also increase, so that when we cater these types of travelers, when we cater these types of tourism, it means that we can also benefit the local people and the community here in the island.
Okay, and then the last, Ibu Dia, what is your overall look for tourism in Bali for 2026 and beyond?
I think the overall outlook for tourism is positive, but conditional. But conditional.
Bali, what does it mean then?
Yeah, as a researcher, I see Bali is increasingly still in high demand in terms of tourists. People see the brand of Bali is just different. Until today, when you go abroad, people will ask, if you come from Java, which part of Bali is Java? Which part of Bali is Indonesia? Something like that. So in terms of the branding itself, Bali is still very strong. But at some point, Bali needs to accelerate the regenerative tourism. The pressure on environment, the pressure on mobilities, traffic congestions, overcrowded, and of course the carrying capacity must take into action so that Bali can see a better future in 2026 and the years, forthcoming years. I believe that if you want to have Bali still sustain as a destination, we have to ensure that the three critical problems have to be addressed properly. Also with the waste management, I forget to mention, because nowadays the travelers are different. We see a lot of more travelers that are conscious with environmental aspect, and therefore to address the conditional, the issues that arise is an essential, and it is a way to create Bali becoming the forthcoming destination in the forthcoming years.
All right, so we need a clear direction and a strong commitment, of course, in ensuring the competitiveness and also the resilience of Bali's tourism industries, right? So thank you so much, Ibu Dia, for having a time with us on Your Voice. Thank you so much. Well, now, viewers, that is the Your Voice segment for Bali Visions for today. Let's have a good optimisms for Bali's tourism industries for 2026. So it will keep sustain and also resilience. I'm Yana Wiswari signing off, and see you again on the next opportunity on Your Voice.